Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to look at some newer Zippo lighters, a few of these actually brand new, and we're going to talk about, hopefully discuss, whether Zippo and the quality of the lighters that they make are up to the standard that name requires. Had a comment on yesterday's video from Giovanni Abazia, and he was discussing how well made some of the Zippo copies or other advertising lighters are compared to Zippo itself. When Zippo carries the name that everyone is looking for, so that made me wonder, for other collectors, do you believe that Zippo is the quality that they should be? Does Zippo manufacture their lighters to the quality and standards that name demands? Now these two lighters that I have here at first, these are brand new. This one was made in 2021. It is the second canceled COVID convention lighter for OTLS, one of only 75 made. It seems to be very tightly made as far as the hinge is concerned. The hinge does not just fall flat like you will see, including this 1995 brushed chrome model that had a hinge freshly returned from the Zippo Repair Clinic. That was the lighter that was given to me by Gavin Lannon. It fits pretty tight, other than the way that hinge just falls flat there. But these newer lighters, they all of the hinges seem to be very tight. They don't fall open, and not only do they not just fall open, but they are sort of stiff, and I don't know, they sort of feel like there's tension there. It made me wonder, because I remember when I first got the etched cannabis leaf Zippo, the hinge itself was covered in green paint, and neither one of these lighters, even though the entire lighter is painted, neither one of them in brand new condition appear to me as though there was really any attempt to paint the hinges. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know. It seems to me like if you're going to open it, that paint's probably going to come off the hinges sooner rather than later anyway. But you can see this one was from 2020, fits real tight. Hinge, they all have a little bit of side to side movement on the hinge. We'll look at that later. Here's where I was showing you on this hinge. You can see most of that paint now is definitely gone. And this hinge has been through hell and back. Has not been repaired or anything like that, but I've cranked it crooked on more than one occasion, and you know, do the best you can to line it back up, and it functions. All that, everything that needs to work works, but I'll show you here in a minute when we get to comparing them. You can see where it is just a little bit off in the alignment, no matter how it may look from a distance. But the hinge itself, or not the hinge, but the insert, I don't have any real complaint about the insert. You can see there the side to side movement on the hinge, and like I said, this particular hinge has been abused, so the fact that it's as straight as it is is a miracle. But it seems to me that you can see sort of a hard angle there, even though it's not real noticeable. If you really look, you can see that that lid leans in one direction. Just sort of the casualty of, or the collateral damage of using the lighter. It still works fine. You can see that. No problem at all with it doing the job that it was meant to do. Just that the case itself is not perfectly in alignment. So that was the things that made me wonder when Giovanni asked the question. Is he talked about how well made and the fit of the insert. I know that hinges and the quality of the hinges are something that ZF77 has brought up several times in the comments of other videos, like the Conwall. This is a park advertising lighter for Smirnoff. You can see those parks, they usually fit down in there like a glove. Sometimes with that aluminum, depending on what kind of oxidation or corrosion goes on, it fit in there like a glove that just ain't gonna come off. The Zippos, though, you can see that insert is there's not a lot of play. Zippos are famous for their evaporation qualities more so than most other petrol lighters that I can think of, and I think that's just simply a function of the fact that they are flip top petrol lighters, and there's just not hard seals. There's just a lot of opportunity for evaporation. That part you can see, man, it didn't really there for a minute I didn't think it was going to come out. I think it was because that wick had kind of got bound up in there. That's a very nice advertising lighter there. This is the lighter that started the conversation, and it does look like that hinge pin might be thicker, and that's the one thing that ZF77 had pointed out before about the Conwall military lighter and why he was so impressed with those at that point. I don't know if that thicker pin that you saw there in that Allen lighter would be enough to keep the Zippo from that little side-to-side wobble that you see. That's really the only complaint that I can think of that I have had, is that it does seem like some of the newer Zippos that I have had come through my hands, they had a wobble in the hinge that seemed to me not to really be acceptable for a brand new lighter. Other than that, I don't really have any complaint with the fit of the inserts or the way that the lighters line up. I don't find them with overbites or anything like that. Lids sitting wonky from side to side. This is a Bob Dylan Tour Merchandise Zippo, an O2, and you can see how the hinge on it comes to rest there. The lid is in a very high position, not just slack down against the bottom of the case of the lighter. Everything lines up side to side. As I said, no overbite, underbite. This particular insert has some marks on it that were kind of weird, I hadn't seen before, but when I published that video, there were a couple of comments that assured me that was not unusual. While we're talking, I wanted to show you guys, do you remember when I did the video for this Brothers Sewing Machine Corporation Cygnus table lighter? Oh yeah, that reminds me too, I've had this other one in the background for months now. I thought you guys might be getting tired of Cygnus videos, so I've been holding off for a while. But back when I fueled this thing up, I don't remember, it's got to have been 2 or 3 months ago now at least. It is still firing away. Now, I don't use it. It's just been sitting over here on the shelf. I say I don't use it. I don't use it very often. It's sitting in my bedroom where things don't usually get lit. But I'm not sure about exactly, measuring the volume, how much fluid this thing holds, and how much it would hold in relation to, say, a Ronson Queen Anne or Crown table lighter. I will say that the fill screw is a very robustly threaded, and it does have a seal on it. So, this lighter really doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunity for evaporation, and with holding that much fluid, it might last you a year. It might last longer. I don't know. It's a very cool. There was somebody on the OTLS Facebook page the other day posted a picture and was complaining about the flint mechanism. But to me, this is one of the most nifty flint mechanisms out there. Getting back to these Zippos, though, that's what I would like to hear from you guys is, are you happy with the quality of the hinges that you get out of the box from Zippo? Or the quality of the fit of the insert? Or is there some other complaint you have? What about the click or the alignment? Or whether or not the spring has the kind of movement that you feel like it ought to? Whatever your complaint, whatever your criticism, or maybe you're kind of like me and you don't really have a criticism. Like I said, my only criticism would be that some of the hinges are a little loose. That's about it. Until next time.